Dolphins. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, the rest of our CBS crew. Houston coming off a 34-7 win over Indianapolis in Week 1. The Dolphins a 38-24 loss to New England on Monday night. 906 combined passing yards in that game, an NFL record. Miami has won the toss, and they have deferred. Dan Carpenter will kick it off for the Dolphins, and Danielle Manning is the deep man for the Houston Texans, the former Chicago Bear, who does have one kickoff return for a touchdown in his career. Sixth all-time meeting between these two teams. Texans are 5-0 against the Dolphins. We're underway from South Florida. Carpenter kicks it out of the end zone, and the Texans will have it at their own 20-yard line. Matt Schaub, big numbers last year. This year, off to a pretty good start. Did throw a couple of picks last week.
Yeah, and he stressed to us yesterday that because Miami's defense will use a lot of blitzes, it's important for him to see things clearly and never, ever be late getting the ball to his receivers. Timing is the key to his West Coast offense.
Also told us there is more freedom for him on offense this year. They've added a bit more to the playbook, and they'll throw it on first down. It's Andre Johnson, the Miami native, angled out of bounds by Sean Smith. Picks up 5 on the play. Let's take a look at this Houston offense and start with the offensive line. A number of University of Miami products on this team, including Eric Winston, the starter at right tackle for the Texans. Backs and receivers, you'll see a lot of two tight end formations as well, with Joel Dreesen in there. But the big story, Arian Foster back after being inactive last week with a hamstring injury, the NFL's leading rusher last year. Here's Daniels getting in on the act, and Daniels picks up 10. It's a first down for Houston. Miami defensively in that 3-4 set. They've got the big man right in the middle. Paul Soliai had a breakthrough season last year and making big money this year. Cameron Wake, 14 sacks last year, and had one last week on Tom Brady in the loss to New England. And in the secondary, Rashad Jones is the full-time starter at safety. Chris Clemens is out with a hamstring injury. Schaub out of the pocket. New set of downs to work with, and Schaub will throw it away. Paul Soliai supplying the pressure for Miami. It'll be 2nd and 10.
A couple of interesting decisions already in this ball game. And the Dolphins win the toss and elect to defer, putting their defense back out on the field. Obviously, the Texans saw that Monday night game and what Tom Brady did, so they open up with 3 straight passes, 2 complete, and a smart throwaway that time by Schaub.
Yeah, Tony Sperano last week. A nightmarish performance defensively as Tom Brady just had his way with this Dolphins defense. 2nd and down. Foster gets his first carry of the year, and there he goes. Arian Foster out near midfield. Dwayne Brown and Wade Smith on the left side of that line, creating some space. It's a 14-yard run.
Yeah, Dwayne Brown 76 and Wade Smith 74, and even David Anderson gets in the job here to get Foster into the second level. You can see the Dolphins came up with a blitz right up the middle, and the Texans ran away from it for that 14-yard gain.
And we asked Foster, how much will you play? He said, look, we're going to gauge how I'm feeling after the first couple of series, see how the hammy is doing, and then make a decision beyond that. Foster gets the call and squeezes through a hole up the middle for a 2-yard gain. Fouts focus. Let's get right to it. The offensive line for Houston, athletic and mobile.
Watch how center Chris Myers, guard Mike Brizell, tackle Eric Winston, and tight end Joel Dreesen move and block on the run, creating a huge running lane for Ben Tate. Now this will set up subsequent play action passes as wide receiver Andre Johnson gets in on the downfield blocking action. Big day last week for the Texans offensive line.
They had 167 rushing yards last week, even with Arian Foster inactive. Handoff, it's Foster again. And takes that lane almost at first down yardage, little bit shy. It's a 6-yard gain. 3 big fellas in Daniels, Dreesen, and Casey all blocking.
Well, it's a stretch play, and then he hits the hole. You know that old saying that Vince Lombardi had about running to daylight? Well, there's the daylight right behind Wade Smith's block there as he clears the linebacker out. Another positive gain for Arian Foster and the Texans.
So it sets up 3rd and short now for Houston in Miami territory. 7th play of the drive opening up here in Miami. On a 3rd and 2, a tight formation with Daniels in motion. Schaub from the gun. Rush coming, they handle it, dump off, it's Foster, and he's got enough for the first down. NFL Today update, let's head to New York. And JB.
And Buffalo trailing 35-31 in the closing seconds.
And what a game. Ryan Fitzpatrick on 4th and 1 hits David Nelson for a touchdown. He was uncovered. Buffalo 38-35, 14 seconds left. The Raiders have the ball.
All right, back to Ian Eagle and Dan Fouts.
How about the play of Ryan Fitzpatrick really coming into his own?
Smart guy. Reminds a lot of people of Rich Gannon.
Oh, really? I like that. There's Schaub. Soft toss, tipped and caught by Jones. Jacoby Jones is there. Matt Schaub.
Oh, big gamble by Matt Schaub because Jeremiah Bell had the underneath coverage. In fact, it appeared that Jeremiah Bell may have gotten his hand on this ball. But Schaub confident that Jones, yeah, there's the tip. What great reaction. Last week, Andre Johnson caught a touchdown pass off a similar type of athletic move. Big play by Jacoby Jones and the Texans.
And Jones getting the start with the injured Kevin Walter, a bruised collarbone. 1st and goal, pitch for Foster. And Foster turns the corner. And he brings it right around the 7-yard line for a 3-yard gain.
He is so smooth, isn't he? It just doesn't look like he's running that fast, but he's gaining ground with those long, smooth strides. Got the corner easily. Puts the ball all the way to the 5.
Dan, remember opening weekend last year against Indianapolis, Arian Foster, 231 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. He announced his arrival.
Indeed.
10th play of the drive. This is a 2nd and goal now for Houston, trying to get on the board first. On the give. And Foster hit behind the line of scrimmage. Swarming defense. Carlos Dansby, the inside linebacker, leading that charge, and no gain on the play.
Dansby had 5 tackles last week against the, here he is right here from this side. Watch him come all the way over and get penetration. 5 tackles against the Patriots last week, but actually Dansby was on his side and came and shot the gap perfectly.
And now Will Allen checks in. The veteran was re-signed earlier this week. When Benny Sapp was released, Sapp was the one who gave up the 99-yard touchdown to Wes Welker. 3rd and goal. Schaub in some trouble. Steps up. Schaub remains upright. Schaub on the move and throws it away. Jason Taylor with the heat. Got his hands on Schaub, and they will force a field goal attempt.
That's exactly what the Dolphins needed here. Not only did it with the pressure by Jason Taylor, but check out the coverage in the end zone by the Dolphins secondary. There's just nobody open here. The pressure then by Kevin Burnett late. That forces again, another wise throwaway by Schaub.
23-yard attempt for Neil Rackers, one of the most accurate kickers in the NFL. The punter Hartman holds it, and Rackers off the post and through for 3 on the board. Go figure. 12 plays, and Houston does have 3 points to show for it, barely.
Yeah, this is our first doink of the NFL season 2011. Good snap, perfect hold, and a lucky bounce.
Doink? Got to give it a little juice.
I think it's more like a doink.
Either way, take your pick. Coming up Thursday on CBS, CYTV Guide calls Person of Interest a must-see mystery. Emmy winner Michael Emerson and Jim Caviezel star in Person of Interest, premiering Thursday, only CBS. So long drive for the Texans here on the road to open up with a 3-0 lead on Miami. 9:58 to play in this first quarter. Gary Kubiak now in his 6th year as the head coach of the Texans. And there's a feeling that's developing with the Texans behind the scenes. Very business-like atmosphere and environment in their facility, that they know they're the favorites to win this division, whether they want to come out and admit it or not. But it's lined up for them to go to the playoffs for the first time in franchise history.
And with the addition of Wade Phillips as their defensive coordinator, Wade told us he likes the personnel they have here. He just, with the addition of Jonathan Joseph and Daniel Manning, he feels he can do a lot of things with that type of talent.
Hartman kicks it off, big leg, and a touchback. He had 6 last week. NFL Today update. to New York. And JB.
Ian and Dan, can Oakland pull it out with the Hail Mary?
And Jason Campbell with no time on the clock. He's throwing the Hail Mary. You know he can get the ball to the end zone. He puts it up, and Denoris Cersei comes up with the interception for Buffalo. Buffalo wins 38-35.
On the 5th lead change, Buffalo nails it back to Ian and Dan.
A shootout in upstate New York. The Buffalo Bills outlast the Oakland Raiders. We're just underway here in South Florida. Houston 3, Miami nothing. Dolphins touch the ball for the first time. Open up in the shotgun. Chad Henne slings it. Incomplete. He was trying to hit Jerron Mastru, the second-year tight end out of Kansas State. And there is Chad Henne. He had 416 yards last week, the most yards passing by a Dolphins QB not named Dan Marino.
Yeah, excellent effort, especially on that opening drive. We can see if he'll duplicate that this afternoon against the Texans.
6 offensive linemen here for Miami. On a 2nd and 10 for the Dolphins, handoff to Reggie Bush. A little spin move on the inside. He picks up 2 yards with D'Amico Ryans combining with Mario Williams to bring him down. You were impressed with Henne last week and the way he handled himself against New England?
Yeah, and he told us yesterday that in facing the Texans today that predominantly they play a zone pass defense. So he's got to move this defense with his eyes and not telegraph his passes. They play a deep zone to the Texans, and there are opportunities for Henne to squeeze the ball into the intermediate passing range.
Well, he was named one of the captains of this team. A great honor, he said, getting respect from his teammates and wants to show the leadership qualities that come with the position. And he is dumped. Connor Barwin, outside linebacker with tremendous speed getting through.
Yeah, there are going to be a lot of opportunities for Connor Barwin because of the big guy on the other side, Mario Williams, now playing the opposite side linebacker, cushioning as well on that 3rd down play with the pressure on the quarterback.
So we'll see Brandon Fields for the first time. The dangerous Jacoby Jones waiting for it. Had a 79-yard punt return for a touchdown last week in the victory over the Colts. Returnable, back pedal, a lot of room in front of him for Jones. Jones down the sideline. Jacoby Jones on his feet. Jacoby Jones spun down in Miami territory, just inside the 45 by Marvin Mitchell on special teams. 70-yard punt and a 39-yard return. The Texans with excellent field position to open up their 2nd drive of the day.
Well, Brandon Fields just plain outkicked his coverage there, but he did prevent the touchdown. He was the last man there, and he did not let Jones get by him. Fields is a big guy, 6'5", 245, and he did a nice job of preventing that touchdown return.
Last week, Dolphins gave up 622 yards to the Patriots, most yards ever allowed by a Miami team. Play fake. Schaub, look at the time. Schaub throwing, and he's got his man, Brian Johnson. The former Lion, 49er, and Cardinal hauls it in. Sean Smith there in coverage. It's a 16-yard hookup.
Yeah, with Kevin Walter getting hurt last week with a bruised collarbone, their Texans got to rely on the other Johnson a little bit. This is Bryant Johnson. He is a 9-year veteran, so he does a nice job of reading that coverage. Double coverage that time. Rashad Jones had him deep, so he curled up, and Schaub was right on target.
Number 17 pick back in 2003 out of Penn State. On 1st down. Foster is devoured. Randy Starks was ready for it. It's a loss of 2 on the running play.
And the one thing that the Dolphins defensive line has to do today is they have to get penetration, and that was just a great job by 94 Starks, getting inside the block of the tackle Dwayne Brown and getting Foster before he can get started.
So a 2nd and 12 now for Houston. Line of scrimmage just outside the 30-yard line. 2 tight end set for Schaub. Set up the screen, and Foster trying to stay on his feet. The Dolphins read it well. He'll pick up 3 on the extra effort. But it could have been a whole lot worse for Miami. Vontae Davis got him down low to make the stop.
Yeah, real good reaction by Vontae Davis. Watch from the left side of the screen. Foster comes out. He's got blockers in front of him. But at the last minute, you can see Davis come in and just take his legs out and bring up this 3rd down. Very, very important 3rd down for the Miami Dolphins. They cannot allow the Texans to keep this drive going.
Ben Tate is in. In his NFL debut last week, had 116 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Schaub on 3rd and 9. Schaub fires, high throw. Andre Johnson's got it, and a first down for Houston. Just short of the 10-yard line. Cameron Wake with a hit on Matt Schaub, but he delivered it just before the contact. 15 yards on the pass play.
And the thing about Johnson, everybody knows how good he is, but this is one of the reasons why. Watch the sharp route here, gets his head around, then the hands. The hands reach up. Vontae Davis is screened off by Johnson's body. And Schaub will take a lick, but he'll take it because he got the first down.
Andre Johnson out of Miami High School gives Houston a new set of downs. Fake the handoff. Schaub, deep drop. Schaub, little floater. And a little high for Owen Daniels. And Daniels had room in front of him, would have had a touchdown.
Yeah, this was a little improv by both Schaub and Owen Daniels because the timing was thrown off. Good coverage by the Dolphins, but no pass rush by the Dolphins. That allowed Schaub to just keep retreating and trying to get the ball to his tight end.
Yeah, we asked Schaub about Daniels. He said he looks like the pre-injury Owen Daniels. In fact, he thinks he's actually better. The torn ACL in 2009, the hamstring trouble in 2010. On a give, Foster the acceleration. And Foster takes it just outside the 5-yard line. About a 6-yard gain on the play. It'll set up 3rd down now for Houston.
Foster just has such a great relationship with his offensive line. He just kind of got in behind the pulling Wade Smith that time. Let Wade do his thing, then went low and picked up 7 yards.
So 3rd down for the Texans. They lead 3-0, 5:28 to play in this first quarter. On the ground. And Foster stacked up. He'll be short of the first down. Kevin Burnett, first man there for Miami. And it's 4th down for the Texans.
And again, you got to feel good about the Dolphins stopping the Texans, keeping them out of the end zone. But you got to worry about the Dolphins' conditioning. This is the that was the 18th play here in the first quarter for the Dolphin defense. They got worn out last week because of the tempo of the Patriots, and right now the Texans are doing the same type of thing, a little more on the ground.
Well, great field position, and another field goal attempt, a short one for Rackers. It's from 22 yards away. And Rackers knocks it through for a 6-0 Houston lead. 4:33 to play, first quarter. Texans in front. The long punt return from Jacoby Jones helps set up this drive for Houston. 8 plays, 40 yards. Matt Schaub and the Texans will have to settle for another short field goal from Rackers, and it's 6-0. Total yards right now, Texans 115, Miami -6. And Hartman kicking off. Clyde Gates, the return man. And Gates stays on his feet as he's forced towards the sideline across the 20-yard line. And penalty marker thrown at the 30-yard line before Chad Henne can get this drive started. Referee today, John Perry.
During the return, holding, number 93, return team. 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
Jason Trusnick with the penalty. Henne and the Dolphins offense back on the field when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by Verizon 4G LTE. Built so you can rule the air.
Back in Miami, Texans 6, Dolphins nothing. Daniel Thomas in the game, making his NFL debut. Rookie out of Kansas State, running back. Henne, tip ball, knocked around and incomplete. So Chad Henne almost had this one go the other way. Mario Williams got his hands on it.
Yeah, and that's easy for Williams to do. He's 6'7". He's coming on the blitz along with inside linebacker Brian Cushing, and nobody to block either one of them. Reggie Bush was lined up outside as Daniel Thomas was in the tailback position, but that was going to be a quick pass. Could have been a disaster for the Dolphins.
So now 2nd and 10. Line of scrimmage is the 11-yard line. And again, an extra offensive lineman here for Miami. From the gun, Henny pats the ball and throws. Makes the connection to Brandon Marshall, extending the arm. And it's going to be very close to a first down. Last week, Marshall, 7 catches, 139 yards, working against the former Bengal Jonathan Joseph.
I think adding an offensive lineman is a good idea. I think Chad does too. Look at the protection he's got. Check out the effort at the end of this play by Brandon Marshall. 6'4", 230 pounds, going against Jonathan Joseph. Makes a catch with his hands and then stretches out, picks up a first down. That was huge for the Dolphins, just what they needed.
Reggie Bush lining up as the tailback. But Henny from the gun. Anthony Fasano, the motion man. Henny fires, and he's got Devon Bess. Bess breaking tackles and brought down inside the 40. A couple of flags down on the play. Danielle Manning giving chase. Penalty marker back at the Miami 12 and 1 thrown at the 37 of Houston. It's a 40-yard pass play.
And that would be Bess's longest reception of his career.
There are 2 fouls in the play, both personal fouls. Roughing the passer and face mask. Number 38 will be tacked on from the end of the run. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So bonus yardage here for the Miami Dolphins after the long pass play.
Now here's the shot on Henny. He stood strong in the pocket, and boy, what a throw that he made to Bessie. I watch it. Daniel Manning will reach out with his left hand and grab a whole lot of grill.
So line it up inside the 25, and another flag comes down.
Too many men in the huddle.
Substitution. 12 men in the huddle. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Officials giveth, officials taketh away. And coming up Friday on CBS, the hit drama Blue Bloods returns for a new season. Special performance by Tony Bennett and Carrie Underwood. Tom Selleck stars. It premieres Friday, only CBS. So back it up 5 yards. 1st and 15 now at the Houston 28-yard line. Back-to-back 7-9 seasons for the Dolphins after that big turnaround in 2008. They went 11-5 after going 1-15. Stepping up, Henny throwing, end zone, incomplete. Marshall was trying to take it down the sideline against Jonathan Joseph. J.J. Watt, talented, impressive rookie, getting right in the face of Chad Henny.
And the Texans are really just ignoring the run game of the Dolphins, and why not? They just have not been able to do anything on the ground this last game and so far in this game. So that fake draw play to Daniel Thomas did not fool anybody up front. They got pressure on the quarterback.
And Dan, you know the storyline. It's been well chronicled. Reggie Bush, primarily a third down back for New Orleans, now getting a chance to be an every down back for Miami. 2nd and 15. Bush goes in motion. Henny with a short drop. Tried the slant to Clyde Gates, a speedster rookie out of Abilene Christian. 4th round pick. And Jonathan Joseph there in coverage.
Joseph, the veteran, coming over from Cincinnati. And boy, has he made a big difference in the secondary. That allowed the Texans to move Glover Quinn to safety. And you put him next to Daniel Manning, who Wade Phillips refers to Manning as a heat-seeking missile. That ball thrown just too low for the youngster Clyde Gates.
So now a 3rd and 15 for Miami after the long play to Devon Bess and the penalty tacked on. See what the Dolphins can do with it. Thomas inside handoff. He is a bruiser as he takes it up the middle, but not nearly enough for a first down. He picks up 4 yards. J.J. Watt there defensively along with Cushing, and the Dolphins will attempt a field goal.
Conservative call by the Dolphins that time, Brian Dable, but no, he looks at the scoreboard. He says, hey, we're only down 6. The field goal here will cut it in half. And that will also give this team a good feeling about themselves, getting some points on the board.
Only the 2nd rush for Miami. This is a 42-yard attempt for the consistent Dan Carpenter. trying to cut into the Houston lead. From 42 yards away, he nails it. We'll step aside with the Texans leading it 6-3. 6-3 Houston here in the first quarter. MetLife is providing today's aerial coverage. Look for the MetLife glimpse as they team up with CBS for more coverage throughout the season. Overhead look here at Sun Life Stadium in South Florida. Miami Dolphins 1-10 in their last 11 home games. That includes a 1-7 mark in 2010. And they've also started 0-2 for the last 5 years, trying to avoid that fate. Chad Henne now 2 of 6 for 51 yards. Dan Carpenter will kick it off to Danielle Manning. And Manning will watch that one soar over his head. Texans will have it at the 20. Arian Foster, his season debut back from the hamstring injury. We'll see Foster in the Texans offense when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. This season, NFL Sunday Ticket is included when you switch. And by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking. Get to a better state.
Texans and the Dolphins, 2:25 to play in this first quarter, and Houston has it 1st and 10 at its own 20-yard line. Fake the handoff. Schaub off play action and throws to Ben Tate. Tate banged down as he crossed the 30-yard line. Carlos Dansby making the play defensively. Ben Tate missed all of last season with a broken ankle. Fibula injury as well. A powerful runner. His junior year of high school had 2,886 rushing yards in Salisbury, Maryland. That to go along with 41 touchdowns.
Not bad.
No, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. He's getting it done. And Tate breaking to the clear and brought down out near midfield. Mike Brizell with a nice block up front. That's a 15-yard rip for Tate.
Had 24 attempts last week against the Colts, and he made the most of his opportunity, but he was just in such great sync with that offensive line. 116 yards, and he ripped off a nice big gain of 15 that time.
Second round pick in 2010, and Tate has taken off the shoe. They're working on that left shoe of Tate. Empty backfield for Shaw. And a first down for Houston. Pressure coming, and Shaw forced to get rid of it. Jason Taylor. Taylor, the active leader in career sacks with 132 and a half.
And he punishes Schaub, driving him down on his right shoulder.
His third stint with the Miami Dolphins. Now in his 15th season overall. 1 year with the Jets, 1 year with Washington. 2nd and 10. Back to the ground game. And Tate nowhere to go, and no gain on the play.
In talking to Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator, he said the defense, in order to beat this athletic and mobile offensive line, the Dolphins must rely on their technique and their discipline, but also get off their heels, attack more. One thing they did not accomplish against New England, and you're seeing that in a couple of plays. It's sporadic, but they are stopping the Texans at times.
Mike Nolan's defense, number 6 overall last season. He really did an outstanding job with this unit. Obviously, the numbers last week embarrassing against the Patriots. Schaub steps up. Schaub, incomplete, and a flag thrown. Joel Dreesen, the intended target, matched up with a cornerback, the tall Sean Smith at 6'3".
Number 73, offense. Penalty's been declined. Resulting play, 4th down.
So the Winston hold declined, and Houston will punt it with 18 seconds to play in this first quarter. So we'll see Brett Hartman, the rookie out of Central Michigan, who also kicks off for this team, had 6 touchbacks last week, setting a new franchise record. Schaub is now 1 for his last 4. Devon Best, the return man, standing at his own 14-yard line. Nearly blocked. Best backpedals and a fair catch called for at the 9. That's where Miami will have it. Marlon Moore extending out and almost knocked this one down. It's a 43-yard punt. Houston leading 6-3. Mario Williams told us that Wade Phillips, the new defensive coordinator, is all about winning on every play, teaching technique at the linebacker position for Williams, learning a new spot. But it's Williams' pressure that led to the Joseph pick that eventually put 7 points on the board for Houston. Brett Hartman kicking off. Clyde Gates, that one soars right through the back of the end zone. And the Dolphins will have it at the 20. Coming up, Sprint Halftime Report. JB, Dan Boomer, Coach Cowher, and Chris Jenkins in the studio this week. All the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. And players and the head coach talking in glowing terms regarding Wade Phillips.
Yeah, I asked Wade about the key to his success. He says, well, I just treat everybody as a man. I treat them honestly, and I give them a simple scheme and just let them play without having to think a whole lot.
Well, 1st and 10 now for the Dolphins at the 20-yard line. In a 10-point hole, handoff Daniel Thomas. And Thomas, a grinder, physical runner at 6'1", 228 pounds, and he picks up 4.5 yards on the play. Well, for Wade, it's a return to the city of Houston, going back to his college days as a linebacker.
That's the Huckenbuck right there. That's what that move is right there.
And then, as a defensive line coach, of course, for his dad, the great Bum Phillips, who was the head coach of the Oilers. 2nd and 5 now for this Miami offense. Early stages, second quarter. And it's Thomas. Daniel Thomas up the gut for 3. Brian Cushing, first man there, Pro Bowler in 2009. So Thomas getting an opportunity to carry it in between the tackles, and where Reggie Bush fits in will be the question that will be asked week in and week out.
But Bush has 2 carries so far for 2 yards. Both carries were in between the tackles, and he's just not that type of player. He's a perimeter, out in space type of guy, and right now he's being replaced by the rookie Daniel Thomas, who is running between the tackles pretty well.
So now a 3rd and 2. Chad Henne from the gun. Touch pass, sideline. He dropped it in the bucket for Brandon Marshall. First down, Miami. Jonathan Joseph had good coverage, but it's Marshall who nabs it for 29 yards.
Marshall has about 5 inches on Joseph. Joseph couldn't cover him any better than this. That's a little illegal contact right there, but how about the effort to go up over the top and just pick this ball off the top of Joseph's helmet. 29 big yards, and again, it's a big play out of the passing game for the Dolphins.
2-time Pro Bowler Brandon Marshall. The numbers were down last year for him. 86 catches, 1,014 yards. Thomas gets another opportunity. And Thomas keeps the legs churning. He's thrown down by Cushing, but picks up 3 in the process.
But you can see the relationship is growing between Henne and Marshall. I mean, that a lot of times when a quarterback sees coverage like that, he'll go away from his receiver. But when you got that ability, plus the size that Marshall has, boy, that's a good combination. Put it up, let him go get it.
And a 4-receiver set now for Miami on a 2nd and 7 in Houston territory, just short of the 40-yard line. Henne set up the screen. Thomas, good move upfield, and Thomas showing a little shake and bake action for a 10-yard pickup and a first down for the Dolphins.
Yeah, Sperano told us yesterday the thing he likes about Thomas is he's got big, strong shoulders. He'll move the pile, and he's got a real burst. And I think we saw the burst that time after he made the catch. He didn't hesitate at all, got in behind his blockers, and was able to pick up the first down.
So now they send Reggie Bush back in. They also bring in the extra offensive lineman Nate Garner, 4th year out of Arkansas. Henne talked about moving Bush all over the field, matching him up with linebackers if possible, and winning those battles. Rush coming, and Henne just forced to get rid of it in the direction of Anthony Fasano. But D'Amico Ryan's got his number called right up the middle.
Both Ryans and Dobbins come up the middle on the blitz. You can see that both of them meet at the quarterback. And I'm sure when they break the huddle, they say, hey, man, I'll meet you at the quarterback.
Yeah, it's a good place to meet. Not for you in particular, but
doesn't bother me anymore.
Well, you shake every now and again, just a little bit.
Just when you get too close.
Just some memory. It's true. 2nd and 10, 7th play of the drive. Houston in front 13-3. Thomas back in there. He gets the carry. And Thomas has room to run. Daniel Thomas, a one-cut runner.
And that's really the difference in a running back who runs between the tackles and one that works better in space like Reggie Bush. There's the cut right there. And then he uses his vision to see the backside of the defense and seeing that there's nobody home. Pretty good tackle there for the Texans.
23-year-old from Hilliard, Florida. The Big 12 newcomer of the year for Kansas State back in 2009 in a first down. Breaks a tackle. Thomas stays on his feet. And that is not easy for a safety to handle the bulky Daniel Thomas, as Glover Quinn eventually made the stop. Ryans whiffed.
This is the other element of a between the tackles runner. Breaking that tackle there by Ryan. And now Larry Johnson comes in the game. So I'm kind of wondering now, what's the story with Reggie Bush? 2 carries for 2 yards. No catches.
On a 2nd and 4. And Johnson gets the call up the middle. Larry Johnson, a couple of Pro Bowls. Big seasons in 2006 for Kansas City. 1,789 yards, 17 touchdowns. Back in 05, he had 20 touchdowns with 1,750 yards. He picks up 2 yards on that play.
Texans substituting along their defensive line, trying to get fresh bodies in there. No surprise, it's hot and humid, even though this is a later start.
And this is a rebuilt offensive line with Pouncey, the rookie out of Florida, Carey moving to the right guard spot, and Colombo picked up after being let loose by Dallas. Penny throws underneath. Catch made by Bush. And Reggie Bush has enough for the first down. Jonathan Joseph with the tackle.
Smart play by the Dolphins that time to get Bush in motion and then isolated. A little bit of a pick play there by the wide receiver Bess. How about that effort? Now there may be a challenge here by the Texans as to where Bush might have stepped out of bounds before reaching and picking up that first down. Kubiak's got the red flag in his hand, but decides not to toss it.
1st and goal from the 9. Henny with a handoff. Thomas. And he ran right into Glover Quinn. Quinn held his ground nicely. A 3-yard pickup.
That's 2 big tackles by Quinn. On the 10-yarder, he made the shoestring tackle. This time, it's just a face-to-face collision. It looked like Thomas had something going there. Boy, listen to that hit, too. That's a former corner. Glover Quinn playing safety.
Smart,
playing well.
Physical player at 6 foot, 209 pounds, now in his 3rd year out of New Mexico. Reggie Bush back in there. 12th play of the drive, over 6 minutes for Miami. 2nd and goal. Henny from the gun. Henny looks underneath. Devon Bess is driven down. Quinn and Joseph combine and limit him to a gain of 1, and Joseph limping a bit. And Joseph is going to come off. Or may have had the wind knocked out of him. So Bryce McCain slides in, 3rd year from Utah, 6th round draft pick in 2009. Miami facing a 3rd and goal from the 5. Trailing 13-3. Shotgun. Henny, rush coming. Henny steps up. Henny throws on the move. Incomplete. Brian Hartline, the intended receiver. And he had a rushing touchdown last week. And for a moment, it looked like Henny was going to give it a shot on the ground.
Yeah, a little bit too much mustard on this pass, too. He's got all his momentum going towards the goal line and really whips this ball to Hartline and misses him by about a foot.
So Dan Carpenter on to try a short field goal. A 22-yard attempt for Carpenter, who knocked one through from 42 yards away in the first quarter. Brandon Fields will hold it. And blocked. Long drive for Miami. They've got nothing to show for it.
Looked like the kick was low by Carpenter. Good snap. The hold is okay. That's a line drive kick there.
And it looked like J.J. Watt got his right arm on it.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Gillette Fusion Pro Glide and the Irritation Defense Line. Help defend your skin. Pizza Hut. Your favorite place deserves your favorite pizza. Your favorites, your Pizza Hut. And by membership rewards from American Express, the social currency.
Houston 13, Miami 3, 6:56 to play in this first half, and the Texans have it at the 20-yard line after the blocked field goal attempt. Johnson sets up on the outside, handoff for Ben Tate, and a running lane for Tate. Keeps the legs churning, flags come down. Mike Kreisel could have been the guilty party.
Penalty, first down.
So it's coming back. So the block made by J.J. Watt, long arms, the number 11 pick, rookie out of Wisconsin, 6'5", 288 pounds.
Wade was talking to me earlier in the week about Watt. He says in practice he drives the offense crazy because he's always knocking down passes. And that kick was low, but he still put out the effort to go up as high as he could to knock it down. But really an athletic move by Watt, and the acquisition of Watt allowed the Texans to move Williams to linebacker.
First and 20. Schaub has time. And that throw offline, a little low to Andre Johnson. Vontae Davis over there defensively. It'll be second and 20.
I wonder if Schaub was feeling the pressure that time, because the Dolphins have knocked him around a little bit there in the first quarter. And he had Andre Johnson. He normally doesn't miss him when he's that wide open.
Now, Matt Schaub said that each year his comfort level has gone up a bit, and he's not getting caught up in the details because now the offense feels like it's second nature. And the numbers have certainly proved that last couple of years. Schaub, screen, and Miami wasn't fooled. Andre Johnson, that was sniffed out. The veteran Will Allen, now in his 11th year in the NFL. He missed the 2010 season with a knee injury.
All that experience by Will Allen. He read that quick screen to Andre Johnson in a hurry and then made the tackle. This is a huge third down, not only in distance, but in the meaning of the game. The Dolphins wasted a 14-play drive and got no points out of it last time.
A third and 19 here for Houston. Crowd trying to get involved. Schaub checking off the line of scrimmage. Play clock is down to 2. And a quick hitter right over the middle to Owen Daniels. It'll be short of a first down. That one covers 11 yards. Jeremiah Bell over there defensively, but a little bit more breathing room for the punt now.
Schaub barely gets this ball off. And that's the key point, though, and you're right. I mean, it does give the punter a little bit more chance to not be so nervous back there. Hartman, a rookie out of Central Michigan. You know his heart is beating quickly.
Punted 3 years for the Chippewas. Just like saying Chippewa.
It's the school of the great Dick Enberg.
Ah, Clyde Gates, return man from the 10. Gates, spin move with a 25 and hit from behind. Line of scrimmage will be the 26. That was a 69-yard punt with a 17-yard return. Houston with a 13-3 lead.
You don't always know where life will take you. But when you're driving the new 2011 Jeep Compass that gives you up to 29 mpg, you can take all the time you need to figure it out. The 2011 Jeep Compass, the evolution of a legendary bloodline. Well-qualified lessees can get a 2011 Jeep Compass Sport 4x2 for $239 a month.
When men don't choose what's right for their face, they can end up with shaving irritation. Get Gillette Irritation Defense Shave Gel and Gillette Fusion Pro Glide Razor to help defend against 5 signs of shaving irritation. Try Gillette Fusion Pro Glide and the Irritation Defense line. Help defend your skin.
I can't believe I'm here with my fantasy football pick, Reggie Bush.
I can't believe any Pizza Hut pizza is now just $10.
It's like we're both having a fantasy.
That's kind of weird.
Our $10 any deal is back. Delivery, carry out, or dine in, only $10 and only at your Pizza Hut.
Want to know the difference between a trader and an elite trader? It's this. E-Trade's Pro platform. Designed bottom up, integrated top down. Customizable? Well, duh. No compromises, no multiple platforms. Got it? Get it? Good.
New Pro Elite from E-Trade. Investing unleashed.
It's not too late. Sign up and draft now at NFL.com/fantasy.
Monday, Dave's all new with CSI star Ted Danson. Plus, later this week, don't miss Taylor Lautner, Medal of Honor recipient Sergeant Dakota Meyer, and music from Coldplay.
Dolphins and the Texans meeting for the 5th time over the last 6 years, and it's Houston with a 13-3 advantage. Second quarter action here at Sun Life Stadium in Miami. Dolphins take over at the 26-yard line. Just over 5 minutes to play first half. Daniel Thomas in there. Nate Garner, extra lineman. Fake the running play. Henny steps up. Henny dials up the deep ball. Down the middle. And broken up. Clyde Gates. 2 flags are down. Quinn and Jackson back there deep.
And that's what Tony Sperano likes about this young man. Clyde Gates can flat fly. He took 2 Texans with him, and they had no chance but
defense
interfere.
Number 25, grab and restrict the jersey. Automatic first down.
And Gates almost made the catch. There's the grab on the back of the pants right there. Ball hit Gates on the left arm. If he doesn't get grabbed there, he may just make this catch and fly into the end zone. So you got to give Jackson credit for preventing a touchdown, although it was a 41-yard penalty.
At a 1st and 10 at the 33 of Houston. Fasano and Mastrud shift to the other side. Running play. And a blast up the middle. Daniel Thomas picks up 6 on the play. Let's head to New York. NFL Today update. JB.
Ian, early trouble for Dallas in San Francisco.
And Alex Smith against the blitz. He hooks up with Kyle Williams on a 12-yard touchdown as the 49ers go up 14-0 against Dallas.
All right, first career touchdown catch for Kyle Williams. Back to Ian and Dan.
Now you wondered how Dallas would respond after that crushing loss to the Jets in Week 1. San Francisco with the early lead. On a give for Thomas. And a nifty spin move by Thomas to give him the first down. Vernon Carey with a good block on that right side. That's a 6-yard gain, and this rookie from Kansas State has been impressive.
Yeah, he's averaging 5 yards a carry. 8 carries so far for him, and a 10-yard screen pass here. But what he's giving the Dolphins, he's giving them that run, that power run inside. And Henny getting the plays called for Brian Daboll was taking advantage of that, loosening up the secondary with some long bombs.
56 total yards now for Thomas in his NFL debut. Houston with a 13-3 lead. Miami driving. 3:37 to go, second quarter. From the gun, Henny to the end zone up top. And Marshall couldn't haul it in. Jason Allen, the former Dolphin, had the coverage.
Dolphin, Allen, a former number 1 for the Dolphin, number 30 here. This ball is just going to bounce off the hands of Marshall. Looked like he might have taken his eyes off to see if he was going to go out of the back of the end zone. Hell of a throw by Chad Henne,
who is now 6 of 14, 94 yards and a pick. And Marshall knows that that opportunity just got wasted. On a 2nd and 10. Back to the ground game. Thomas tripped up a bit. He was slowed down as he was able to emerge through that hole to pick up 6.
And this offensive line is going to appreciate the decisiveness of Daniel Thomas. No hesitation at all. Squeezing into that tight hole between Richie Incognito and Mike Pouncey. That's running right at the strength of this Houston defense when you got D'Amico Ryans and Brian Cushing as your linebackers.
So Jason Allen remains in the game. Jonathan Joseph went off earlier. And this is 3rd and 5 now for Miami. In the red zone once again. Henne steps and knocked down. Off the deflection, Antonio Smith, the reliable defensive end. He can play inside, he can play outside. He just made a play for Houston.
And this is the 3rd pass play that has been disrupted by the defensive line. We saw Mario Williams make a couple of plays, and now Antonio Smith at 6'4", he goes high, gets both hands on that one.
So a 34-yard field goal attempt for Dan Carpenter. Just had his previous attempt blocked by the rookie J.J. Watt. Fields will hold it. Denny the snapper. And it's no good. Carpenter is off. The last 2 drives, Miami has gotten into the red zone, and they have 0 points. 13-3. The score remains the same for Houston.
I host a pretty good game, but to be the best, I needed a little coaching.
That's where I came in. The world's best party needs the world's most refreshing beer. Stack that Coors Light. Make those mountains blue. You're dogging it, ding dong. Wake up. These are cross-brewed fundamentals. Work it, hit it. Gee whiz, Kyle.
When it comes to big refreshment, we could all use a little coaching. Cross-brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer.
Yes!
Coach?
When you play in the same sandbox as luxury SUVs, it helps to have the quality and craftsmanship of your leather interior test better than the Lexus RX 350. It's also helpful to set your select terrain dial to sand.
Mr. Reese, we've got another name.
Let's get to work.
I've got a list of people who are about to be in bad situations.
Is there a point you knew you'd become a bad guy? You have your vest on, officer. Have a nice day. I don't like firearms very much. If someone has to have them, I'd rather it was me.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Chrysler, imported from Detroit, and by the new 70-inch class LCD TV from Sharp.
Arian Foster getting the carry on first down. Cameron Wake made sure that he could not bust it to the outside, and it's a loss of 1 on the play. Houston with a 13-3 lead.
Texans use the threat of the run to Arian Foster here. Schaub gets back deep, and he fires a perfect strike. Good coverage by Vontae Davis, but that is Andre the Great Johnson. Wonder how many tickets he had to buy this time.
Actually 164.
Ouch.
Family and friends here to cheer on Andre Johnson. On first down, Houston. Schaub's got the time, and he slings to Joel Dreesen along the sideline. So down to 1:49 to play. Koamisi, the linebacker, with the coverage. Coming up, Sprint halftime report. JB, Dan, Boomer, Coach Cowher, Chris Jenkins, latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Sprint halftime report.
Texans hit the bomb to Johnson, so the Dolphins react with a 3-man rush and dropping 8, trying to stop this passing attack, but no pressure on Schaub. Easy completion on the sideline.
Now Ben Tate is in there in the backfield on a 2nd and 1. Tate gets the call and blasts his way for a first down. Out across the 15-yard line. Clock is rolling with 1:39 and counting. Give him 4 yards on the carry.
You go back to the Dolphins using a timeout moments ago on defense. And that just gave the Texans a feeling, hey, well, let's go after him then. We've got a 10-point lead, but let's go get some more.
New set of downs for Houston. From the 12. Schaub faked the handoff. And Schaub gets rid of it. Low throw. Johnson's got it. Andre Johnson brought down along the ankles by Vontae Davis.
Good pressure that time by Jason Taylor. That caused this play to be off time. Watch the pressure here by 99. Good catch by Andre Johnson, but Davis is right there. Not this time.
Randy Starks just limped off for Miami, so they make some changes defensively. They tend to rotate their defensive linemen anyway. They're down a man with Tony McDaniel out with a hand injury. And Schaub will call a timeout for Houston with 35 seconds to play, second quarter. Coming up tomorrow, get ready for the next wave. Terry O'Quinn from Lost comes to Hawaii 5-0. It's the season premiere you won't want to miss. That's tomorrow only. CBS.
Buck 'em, Dano.
No, I would actually say that to you, I believe. That's my line.
Oh.
We'll rehearse that for next week.
All right. I had it written down and everything.
2nd and 9, 40 seconds remaining in this first half.
Schaub's had an interesting first half. He was hot to begin with, got real cold, there was pressure on him by the Dolphins, but since that time, he's hit 6 in a row, including that 43-yard bomb to Andre Johnson to get the Texans all the way down here.
Hey, don't you feel that is who Matt Schaub is? He'll do it in bunches.
Nothing like a hot hand, and he's got it right now.
On a 2nd and 9 for the Texans. Schaub flushed out of the pocket. Tosses for Tate. And Tate leveled. And along the sideline, a couple of players over there. Davis in coverage. And then Marvin Mitchell helping out the linebacker.
So 2 pass plays, and the Texans going backwards. Tate might have been better off letting that one just go right over his head out of bounds, because made the catch and then got the contact.
So now a 3rd and 12 for Miami. 33 seconds to play. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Red zone offense. Houston has a touchdown. They have 2 field goals as well. This is the 8th play of the drive for the Texans. Shotgun formation. The rush. Too much for Houston to handle, and Schaub goes down. Cameron Wake.
First sack of the afternoon for the Dolphins. Came at a good time. Cameron Wake, number 91, working on the outside. Here goes right about round Eric Winston. Picks up his 2nd sack of the season.
Yeah, Wake was out of football. He played in the CFL. We asked him about it. He said, look, I always knew I belonged here. I was always trying to show others that I belonged in the National Football League. Nothing has changed about his approach or his mentality now that he had his Pro Bowl season. Timeout called with 2 seconds left, so Houston making sure Miami would not get the football.
Pretty good numbers for the Texans. When you look at the total yards, last week, of course, they got a couple of gift turnovers from the Colts. Today, they've earned these 13 points. But right now, the Dolphins have got to be concerned with giving up 386 yards in the first half after giving up over 600 last week to the Patriots. My goodness.
All of their points last week in that win over Indy came in the first half. That was a new franchise record. 36-yard attempt for Rackers. And a timeout called by Miami.
Good timing by Miami, because that kick was good. Just got inside the right upright.
So give Rackers something to think about for the next attempt.
Tough to ice a kicker in Miami. It's just too hot.
It's true. How you feeling? You all right?
Yeah, the booth is nice and air conditioned.
Don't give that away. Don't let people know. They should think that we're struggling like everybody else out here.
I'm cool.
13-3 Houston, a 36-yard attempt coming up for Neil Rackers. And those are the large fans, the cool zone along the sideline for these 2 teams. Not so cool in the stands. Even a 4:15 Eastern time kick. It's hot. It's humid.
Yeah, there are more fans on the sidelines than there are in the seats. But it's a sellout.
36 yards. for Rackers. And Neil Rackers caps off this first half with a field goal to make it 16-3 at the break. Coming up, Sprint halftime report. After this message and a word from your local station, you're watching the NFL on CBS.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Just about set for third quarter action. Houston leading Miami 16-3. We welcome you back to the broadcast booth, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. I wouldn't say that was a crisp first half. A lot of opportunities there for Miami. They came up short on 2 field goal attempts. They missed them.
Yeah, and we got one doink from the Texans.
Right.
So it's been a football game so far. Too many field goals. The 2 missed field goals, the opportunities would have been just a 7-point game now as we start the second half with the Dolphins getting the opening kickoff. But you got to look at what they've done. The Dolphins, it's been some big plays.
All right, let's take a look at the NFL mobile recap presented by Verizon. Chad Henne back to throw. Mario Williams getting in there, and it leads to the pick for Joseph.
And it leads to a touchdown. The touchdown pass from Schaub to Owen Daniels, the only touchdown of that first half.
So the Houston Texans with the lead at the break. Not quite the lead they had a week ago when it was 34-0 over Indianapolis at halftime. And Miami does get the ball to start playing the second half after deferring when they won the opening coin toss. So Houston will kick it off with Brett Hartman. Clyde Gates is the deep man for the Dolphins. And Gates is going to take this one out 8 yards deep. Gates. Blazing speed. He got through that hole, but there was that second wave on special teams. Jason Allen bringing him down, a 39-yard return, and a look at the first half numbers.
Yeah, a lot of yards for the Texans, 219. So you look at that, and then the Dolphins pretty much on the ground. It's been Daniel Thomas and not Reggie Bush. But there, of course, the turnover that led to 7 points.
So Miami with a 1st and 10, 32-yard line to start out this second half. And it is Thomas, the single setback. Mastru, the motion man. Handoff to the rookie Daniel Thomas. And he picks up 3 yards up the gut. Sean Cody making that tackle right up the middle. First half possessions for Miami. Did have the field goal, the pick from Henne. Had a blocked field goal, had a missed field goal, and they trail 16-3.
And no Reggie Bush. He's been on the sidelines, apparently not injured. It's been a coaching decision by Sperano to go with the rookie. That's a tailback.
Last week, Bush had 11 carries, 38 yards, 56 yards through the air on 9 catches. And here is Daniel Thomas taking it to the outside. Daniel Manning defensively. An injured Dolphin on the play. Medical staff coming out to take a look at Vernon Carey, the starting right guard. He's played right tackle for this team. He's played left tackle for this team. Was a Dolphins fan growing up right here in Miami. We'll step aside.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. FedEx, solutions that matter. And by KFC Popcorn Chicken. Today tastes so good.
Dolphins at home back-to-back weeks. They lost their home opener last week for the 6th consecutive year. And they trail Houston 16-3, 13-18 to play in the third quarter. Miami with a 1st and 10 at its own 44-yard line. Henne throws, and Marshall didn't bring it in.
Texans have gotten good pressure on Chad Henne this afternoon. They've just sacked him this one time, but they've been in his face, and they've been very effective on third downs. That interception by Joseph was caused by Mario Williams getting a hand up. Speaking of getting a hand up, Antonio Smith gets one on that deflected pass.
This is the 4th youngest starting defense in the NFL. And Henne has had some problems with him. 7 of 17, 101 yards after throwing for 416 against the New England defense on Monday night. Daniel Thomas running into a crowd, and he is spun down. Clearly, Thomas has been more of the every down back as he picks up 3.5 yards on the play.
You know, in going back one play, Ian, that quick pass out to Brandon Marshall, Henne saw the blitz coming, and he just automatically threw it out to Marshall, who had single coverage. If he makes the catch, he's got a chance to make some positive yardage. But I think, again, Marshall may have taken his eye off the ball. That type of reaction cost him a touchdown in the second quarter.
Vernon Carey back out there for Miami on the right side of their line. This is a 3rd and 7. Thomas with 59 yards rushing. Shotgun, flags come down.
False start, number 77, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And a rare penalty against perennial Pro Bowler Jake Long. When it comes to solving mysteries, she can do anything but forget. Poppy Montgomery and Dylan Wall star in Unforgettable. It premieres Tuesday, only CBS.
That was Jake Long jumping off sides, and Mario Williams wasn't even on that side of the field. He was worried about Connor Barwin coming after him.
3rd and long now. Henne sideline route. And Brian Hartline was out of bounds. So the Dolphins will be forced to punt it at the 12:07 mark of this 3rd quarter. Offense has not been efficient, and the couple of times that they did get down deep, they had 0 points to show for it.
Yeah, 3rd downs, but just killing the Dolphins offensively in this first 2 games. Just 2 of 14 against the Patriots. Now just 3 of 8 on 3rds.
Brandon Fields to punt it. Jacoby Jones waiting. And that takes a Miami roll and angles out of bounds. It'll be inside the 10. That's where Houston will open up with a 16-3 lead. Arian Foster on the Texans sideline. We spoke with him about last week. He said, look, it was not worth rushing back with a hamstring injury. By week 14, nobody's going to be talking about week 1. And we're just curious whether or not his week 2 is over, as Ben Tate is in there right now. Dansby with a groin injury for Miami. His return is questionable. Handoff, Ben Tate. And Tate, good extra effort there as he carries out near the 20-yard line, and it should be enough for a 1st down.
Well, this was Foster's first carry of the game. It was good for 14 yards. He only has 19 yards in the last 9 carries. So this touchdown pass after the interception by Joseph to Daniels, and then the bomb that got Texans down in shape to pick up their last field goal of the first half. But Foster looks like a spectator now.
Last year, 1,616 yards to lead the NFL. Tate gets another carry, and up the middle for 2 as he crosses the 20-yard line.
And what a luxury the Texans have with Ben Tate, Steve Slayton, another 1,000-yard rusher, Derek Ward out with an ankle, but with 4 tailbacks like that, they can afford to rest Foster in this ballgame.
There are only 2 teams in the NFL that have 3 1,000-yard rushers on their roster: Houston and Philadelphia. Foster, Ward, and Slayton have all gone over 1,000. Schaub with a flag down. He hits his man, James Casey. And Casey is down across the 40.
Number 73, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
And it's Eric Winston called on the hold. Would have been a 23-yard pickup. Offensively for Houston in that first half, couple of field goals. The touchdown, as we just showed you, from Schaub to Daniels, and a field goal to end the first half for Neil Rackers. So back it up now after the hold, all the way back to the 10-yard line.
Yeah, the Dolphins are going to, they definitely need a spark, and it's going to be the defense that has to give it to them. Texans backed up. Dolphins got to take advantage of this.
Dolphins only had 19 takeaways last year. That was 2nd to last in the NFL. Schaub, safety valve, it's Tate. And Ben Tate working that sideline after the catch, able to create a 9-yard gain. Vontae Davis with a hit.
And what helped create that is Schaub's use of looking off the defense. He was looking to the right side of his offensive formation, knowing all the time that he had Tate swinging out to the left side. But by keeping his eyes down the field to the right, that drew the defense away from Tate and allowed that 9-yard gain. Good job by Schaub.
Texans have been in the top 4 in total offense for 3 straight seasons. They were number 3 in the NFL last year. Tate with his 3rd catch of the afternoon. This is 3rd and 10. Rush coming. Schaub throws, unfortunate. Daniels in the area. Vontae Davis coming from the outside to give Matt Schaub something to think about.
Well, it was a creative blitz called by Mike Nolan. It wasn't Davis coming immediately. He kind of waited and then came. Schaub sees him right there, and that causes the incompletion and almost an injury to Schaub.
Clyde Gates is waiting deep. The punter Brett Hartman set a Houston Texan record earlier with a 69-yard punt. High, Gates catches, no fair catch called for, and a risky play. Gates able to hold on to the football, but look at how many Texans were down the field after the 45-yard punt. Houston maintaining the lead in the 3rd.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
And we want to thank MetLife for providing the aerial coverage of all the action below. Look for the MetLife glimpse, Snoopy 1 and 2 when they pass through a town near you. Miami takes over, 1st and 10. Handoff for Reggie Bush back in there. And Bush trying the inside for a 3.5-yard gain. Connor Barwin, first man there for Houston.
That's just his 3rd carry of the afternoon. For just 5 yards, he has 1 reception for 3 yards, so not exactly what the Dolphins had in mind as Hennig now tries to change the tempo with the no-huddle offense.
We'll call it 2nd and 6 here. 16-3 Houston. Coming up on 9 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter. Hennig from the gun. Handoff. And Bush, they converge on him. A little bit of a delay there. Glover Quinn with the stop and a 3-yard pickup.
Wade Phillips told me that the key to stopping Bush is to keep him inside between the tackles, and if he releases on a pass route, have either Mario Williams or Barwin knock him off his route.
Dime package here for Houston. 3rd and 3 for Miami. And Hennig will throw it for a 1st down. He's got Brandon Marshall, extra yardage after the catch. And finally wrestled towards the sideline just inside the 40 by Troy Nolan. That's a 16-yard pass and catch.
He just overpowers Jason Allen on the outside here. Good catch here, good move, and then the stiff arm. But I would give Marshall a steady dose now. He is their playmaker.
4 catches, 62 yards for Marshall. And a new set of downs for Miami in Houston territory. Daniel Thomas. Thomas lowers the shoulder. That's a 14-yard gain to the 25-yard line of Houston.
And Brian Cushing is limping to the Texans sidelines, but how about the rookie stepping through tackles there on a draw play, picking up that 1st down?
So Cushing goes off. We mentioned the injury to Joseph earlier. Dansby injured for Miami defensively. And the Dolphins moving the football. Hennig, he's got time. Hennig throws incomplete. Brian Hartline, the intended receiver. That pass a little bit offline from Chad Hennig as he put some mustard on it.
Well, I like the idea of getting to the line of scrimmage. The Texans are trying to substitute, get fresh bodies in there, but it's much more difficult to play defense against a hurry-up offense.
Well, this is what Miami had done to them on Monday night by the New England Patriots.
Imitation.
Highest form of flattery?
Absolutely.
2nd and 10. Thomas in the backfield. Long strides for Thomas. And Daniel Thomas has got another 1st down in his NFL debut. Daniel Thomas continues to stand out in the running game.
He goes 14 yards, and now this one goes 13, both off draw plays. There's that burst. And if Manning doesn't go low to make this tackle, he's in the end zone.
First down for Miami. Again, hurrying to the line. Texans were able to get a player off in the substitution. Ryan Cushing is back out there for Houston. Shotgun. Henny throws. Marshall the catch. Marshall steamrolls his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Miami. Marshall too physical for Jason Allen.
That's about it. I mean, it's just a quick hitch route. Henny saw the man-to-man coverage. He gets it out of his hand in a hurry. Two-step drop and fire. And this is embarrassing for Jason Allen. He's carried 5 yards into the end zone. Great play by Brandon Marshall.
And the Dolphins are right back in it. Trailing by 7. An extra point coming from Dan Carpenter. Seven plays, 62 yards. Brandon Marshall one-on-one with a former Dolphin, and Marshall wins that battle. The hurry-up offense works. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS. Great action for you, including Matt Schaub and the Texans going against Drew Brees and the Saints. Mark Sanchez and the Jets taking on Darren McFadden and the Raiders. It all starts with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines. Shannon Sharp will be back in the studio next week.
And he'll have some new jewelry with him.
Yeah, that Hall of Fame ring. Ceremony at halftime of the Denver game today. Congratulations to Shannon.
How about this field position again for the Dolphins? Last time they had the ball, they started at the 38-yard line, went 7 plays and got in the end zone. It's just so much nicer, easier when you've got great field position to start a drive. The defense is kind of back on their heels, and it really opens up the playbook for the offense.
So Wade Phillips' defense, 4:48 mark of the third quarter. Everybody to a man has talked about how Wade simplified things. They have a game plan now. Everybody has bought in, including Mario Williams in the position change to outside linebacker, a Pro Bowler twice as a defensive end. 1st and 10 for Henny and the Dolphins. Handoff. Daniel Thomas through a hole and keeps on going. Thomas coughs up the football. The Texans claim they've got it, and they do.
Glover Quinn at the bottom of the pile. You got a feel for the rookie. He made a couple of guys miss, but forgot about ball security. He gets in behind Incognito right there. There's one miss right there, and then the ball, the perfect hit on the ball, and it comes loose. And Quinn is on top of it.
Boy, what a turn here with Miami finally building some rhythm on offense.
Yeah, that's why it's always dangerous to play rookies. They just are trying so hard to make an impression.
And he's played so well.
Yeah.
99 yards rushing for Thomas. Ben Tate gets the call. Again, no official word on Arian Foster. But Foster has been on the sideline with the helmet off.
Yeah, and he's not even holding the helmet, so that helmet may have stayed in the locker room at halftime. You hope that that hamstring's okay, but I think they're being cautious with him. He might have felt something there, because started the game well with a 14-yard carry, but since then, not much.
Now this is agonizing for Foster watching this from the sideline. Handoff. Ben Tate. He's got a running lane, and he is spun down right at the first down line. Good block by Joel Dreesen. And he picks up 6 yards. Going to be officially third and very short.
I thought it was interesting in talking to Foster yesterday when I asked him, how many yards would you have gotten if you were in the game playing against that Colt defense?
What'd he say?
116,
yeah.
Which is exactly the number of yards that Ben Tate got.
Yeah. Politically correct.
I think he might have gone for 216, though.
3rd and 1 here for Houston. Texans will try to get the first down on the ground. Tate Wow, he stayed on his feet and was able to spin his way for the yardage necessary for the first down. Randy Starks got him down low. It's a new set of downs for the Texans.
Yeah, big time effort here. Getting in behind James Casey, the versatile player who plays a little bit of fullback, a little tight end, a little wing back, can play some wide receiver, but the effort by Tate there was just absolutely amazing. He was hit behind the line of scrimmage, kept his balance, and used his power to pick it up.
1st and 10 at the 43 of Miami. After the Thomas fumble, Steve Slayton is now in there for Houston. Schaub, plenty of time, out of the pocket. Schaub looking to run and angles his way to the 40-yard line. A 3-yard scramble as we head to New York. NFL Today update, JB.
Cincy has narrowed the gap.
And young quarterback Andy Dalton right in the middle of the field. Andre Caldwell, 10-yard touchdown. They missed the 2-point conversion. Denver up 17-12.
Denver trying to keep from going back to Ian and Dan Fouts.
All right, JB and Dan Marino. Dan's former team, the Miami Dolphins, trailing the Texans 16-10 with 2:20 to play in this third quarter. And the Texans face a 2nd and 7. Give is to Slayton, and he is buried at the line of scrimmage. Miami completely prepared defensively for that running play from Slayton to the short side of the field. And now Tate will come in at the tailback spot.
And David Anderson will come in and give the Texans another wide receiver. How fortunate were the Texans to pick up Anderson, so familiar with this offense, taking the place of Kevin Walter, who's got the bad collarbone.
Anderson now in his 6th year. He was cut by Denver, and Houston jumped on it when they knew they had an open spot at wide receiver. 3rd and 7. Shotgun for Schaub. Down to 1.5 minutes to go in the third. Schaub gets rid of it. Deep ball up in the air. And Johnson unable to haul it in. He tried the over-the-shoulder grab working on Nolan Carroll.
Yeah, give Nolan Carroll some credit, because I think as this ball is coming over the outside shoulder, Carroll may have gotten a hand on it, may have gotten a fingernail on it. Just enough to distract Andre Johnson and prevent the catch.
Normally a ball that Johnson will bring in. And Houston will punt it. Devon Best waiting at the 10-yard line. And Best, fair catch at the 9. 31-yard punt, but well done by Hartman, the rookie punter. Keep up with the NFL when you're on the go. The NFL's mobile apps are all new for the 2011 season. Go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more.
Interesting decision that time by Darren Rizzi, the special teams coach, taking out the rookie Clyde Gates and putting Devon Best back there. Best has a lot of experience returning punts, but the fumble by Daniel Thomas may have influenced that decision.
Well, we know special teams was a major problem last year. They made a change at special teams coach after the debacle against New England. And now the Dolphins take over a 1st and 10 at their own 9-yard line. Fake the handoff. Henny to throw. Henny guns to Hartline, and he's got a 1st down. Kareem Jackson with a stop.
That's what I like about Brian Daboll's offense. Is it's an attack-oriented offense. They're going to change the tempo again, go back to the no-huddle offense. But when Henny has time with that strong arm, boy, he just fired a beautiful strike to Hartline that time.
And Dan, Jonathan Joseph is back for the Houston Texans. Ankle injury earlier today. Back in there now, late stages, third quarter. Give is to Thomas, and Daniel Thomas falling forward for a gain of 2.
A lot of confidence shown by Coach Tony Sperano, keeping the rookie in there after the fumble. But, you know, it was such a great hit by Kareem Jackson right on the ball that caused the fumble. It wasn't like Thomas had the ball out in space away from his body. It was just a perfect form tackle.
Last week in his NFL debut, Ben Tate went over 100 yards. This week, Daniel Thomas in his NFL debut for Miami, over 100 yards, 101 on 17 carries. Play fake. Henny steps up. Henny's going to run. And Henny's got the 1st down and a whole lot more. Chad Henne, smart play getting to the outside. D'Amico Ryans was chasing Henne out of the pocket.
And running was a big part of the game for Henne last week against the Patriots. He was their leading rusher. That time he saw man-to-man coverage in the secondary. Picked up 20 big yards for the Dolphins.
He had 59 yards on the ground last week. End of the third quarter. Miami is driving. Houston leads at 16-10. This is the NFL on CBS. Start of the fourth quarter here in South Florida. Houston leading at 16-10. Everybody has talked about the improved leadership of Chad Henne. By the way, Iron Eagle Dan Fouts. We're going to get a chance to see whether or not it truly is improved.
Well, he's so comfortable in this offense. He brings a natural leadership now that he's the only guy.
Yeah.
Before he had Chad Pennington there, and now he is the total charge of this Miami offense.
And Thomas with another carry for Miami. D'Amico Ryans with the stop. 6-yard gain. Let's go to New York. NFL Today update.
All right, Tony Romo went out with a rib injury. John Kitna came in.
And off of John Kitna interception, Alex Smith finds Delaney Walker down the sidelines. 29-yard touchdown. San Francisco up 21-14.
Back to Ian and Dan.
All right, JB and Dan. Henne throwing. He's got Brandon Marshall out across the first down marker. Jason Allen with the coverage. And they are picking on the former Dolphin right now.
And he's getting the plays from the sideline in a hurry, able to make his checks at the line of scrimmage. Last Monday night against New England, his checks at the line of scrimmage led to 2 touchdowns, including that quarterback draw.
And Joseph is back on the Houston sideline. So he came in at the end of the third quarter and not out there now for Houston. Reggie Bush is out there for Miami. And a 1st and 10 for the Dolphins in Houston territory. Handoff. It's Bush trying to cut it back. And he runs into Earl Mitchell, who wraps him up. Vernon Carey with a block on that right side to help spring Bush for 6 yards.
Bush looking for the home run on that draw play. Tried to cut it to the outside when there's more yardage up the middle, straight ahead. May have cost the Dolphins a few yards.
5 carries, 15 yards for Bush. Thomas 107 on the ground on 18 carries in his first career NFL game. 2nd and 4. Henne. Henne throwing sideline. Hartline extends in a matchup with Jackson. It's a clean catch. $25-yard hookup.
I'm going to jog your memory right here. Doesn't that look like Raymond Berry? Number 82 catching a pass from Johnny U. Concentration on the ball. The toe tap completed. Pass. Kubiak with the red flag in his hand, but he gets word from upstairs. No, that was a good catch. His coaches can look at the monitor.
From the gun, Henne trying to throw to Devon Bess. A low throw. Incomplete.
This is just a great job of concentrating and feeling where the field is, getting both feet in. Good coverage by Jackson. Perfect throw and catch for the Dolphins.
Now Jackson playing the role of official, trying to wave it off. Incomplete.
Hoping it was incomplete.
There's the balance for Miami on this drive. 4 rushes, 4 passes. They've already covered a lot of yardage in 3 minutes. 9th play of the drive started at their own 9-yard line. Henne from the gun. Timing play. Incomplete. It looked like Allen was the receiver on that play, not Marshall.
Well, Marshall stopped on his route and then saw where the ball was and went after it. Allen was giving him a lot of cushion. Watch Marshall get right about here. He looks back, stops. That fooled the quarterback, and both of them are lucky that Allen is not just a little bit taller, or he would have picked that off.
So now 3rd and 10. 4th time in the red zone here today for Miami. They have the 1 touchdown, missed on a pair of field goals. Trailing by 6 points. 13 minutes to play in the 4th. Henne looks, Henne throws, end zone. Double coverage. Marshall defended by Manning and Allen. And it's 4th down for the Dolphins. Field goal unit comes on.
Well, it's pretty obvious that the Dolphins were going to go to number 19 in crunch time, but And he just threw that at the back of the end zone. Boy, how big were these two misses? Carpenter gets this one blocked by J.J. Watt, and then he's going to miss the next one wide left.
A 34-yard attempt for Dan Carpenter. It's good. Miami cuts the Houston lead to 3. We are early in the fourth quarter and coming back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the 2011 GMC Sierra. This truck month, there is no better time to trade up to the best Sierra. Drive, starring Ryan Gosling, now playing There Are No Clean Getaways. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Some cloud cover here in Miami and a tight one in the fourth quarter with Houston in front 16-13. We have not seen Arian Foster in the second half. That hamstring injury that he was dealing with beforehand. Ben Tate is in for him, and Tate on the receiving end across midfield into Miami territory. 13 yards on the catch and run for the second-year running back out of Auburn.
Great job by Tate. Very quickly after the catch, getting up the field, getting away from the linebacker Misi there. Schaub takes a pretty good shot from Soliai.
So first down at the 50. Tate with his fourth catch of the afternoon. Schaub throws, and it's on time to Andre Johnson. Johnson wrestled down by Carroll. NFL Today update. JB and Dan.
Charger fans expect to hear Rivers to Jackson a lot this year, Dan.
Here you go, Phillip Rivers. Time to throw. Looking in the back of the end zone. Vincent Jackson, 3-yard touchdown, brings San Diego to within 6. New England 20-14.
7 catches, 114 yards, and 1 touch for Jackson. Back to Ian and Dan.
Houston Texans facing a 2nd and 3. Just over 11 minutes to play. Give is to Tate. And Tate busting through the middle. Ben Tate out across the 30-yard line. Brizell and Winston on that right side helping to create a little extra running room. That's 16 yards.
And it's right at the Dolphins' heart of their defense. Great determination, dragging tacklers Langford down the field here. But Marvin Mitchell in there for Carlos Dansby. Remember, Dansby's out. Texans attacked that part of the defense.
Also, Vontae Davis, a hamstring injury. His return is questionable for Miami. So Nolan Carroll has stepped in for him. Second-year corner out of Maryland. Give is to Tate again. And Tate up the gut. He comes up with a 4-yard gain. There was not a whole lot there. There were some big names coming in. Arian Foster, Reggie Bush, the bigger names, but it's the young guys getting it done with Tate and Thomas.
Yeah, Tate averaging 6 yards a carry. And how about Thomas with in his rookie debut in the NFL, goes over the 100-yard mark. He did have that one fumble, though.
Steve Slayton comes in for Houston. Schaub, pump. Schaub throws, end zone, touchdown, Andre Johnson. The Miami native coming home and torching the Dolphins.
Nolan Carroll expected help from Rashad Jones, didn't get it. It's a good idea to double team number 80. That's what Carroll thought they had going here. He lets Johnson go right behind him, then he turns immediately and starts yelling at his defensive back mate.
And the Texans made it look easy on a 5-play, 63-yard drive. Schaub to Johnson.
That's that quiet confidence, that business-like atmosphere that the Texans have this year. Getting the job done.
Rackers on for the extra point. Matt Schaub said, we really feel like this is our year to make some noise. We've been talking about it for the last few years. Now it's time to go out and actually do it. Well, they've done it so far in the fourth quarter. The lead is back to 10 for Houston. A quick strike from the Houston Texans. 5 plays, 63 yards. It took 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Schaub to Johnson, 23-yard touchdown, and Hartman kicks it off to Clyde Gates. Ranges over, takes it out 2 yards deep in the end zone, and he will not even get to the 10-yard line for Miami. Brian Bremen getting down there. Andre Johnson, a superstar, one of the elite wide receivers in the NFL, adds to the Houston lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sprint. All together now. And by Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart.
Last year, Miami Dolphins were held to 15 points or less in 9 games. They have 13 on the board today, trailing by 10 under 10 minutes to go. Henne in trouble, and Henne will take it to the 10-yard line. Got banged at the end of the play by Antonio Smith, and it's a 2-yard run for Chad Henne. Jonathan Joseph back out there defensively for the Houston Texans at corner, along with Kareem Jackson.
And Brian Cushing at one of those middle linebacker spots is back out there. He went out briefly in the third quarter.
Reggie Bush on the field parallel to Henne, and now Henne is making sure everybody's on the same page. Handoff, Bush. Little juke move by Bush didn't work. Kareem Jackson was there. It's a 2.5-yard gain for Reggie Bush. Miami's success offensively came in that third quarter. They started to go no huddle, finally got a little bit of a rhythm, and then it ended when Thomas fumbled the football.
And they had great field position. Not so now.
Shotgun. Henne out of the pocket, trying to run for it, and Henne hit hard. He comes up short. Brian Cushing with the lick, and Henne a little bit slow getting up.
Yeah, when he goes to dive for the first down, he's going to get his head kind of bent back. Watch as he comes up, sees an opening, but he's got a long way to go to get that first down. But there's the big hit there by Cushing in the back of the head of Henne. Legal hit. He's a ball carrier once he leaves the pocket.
And he came up a yard shy. They're going to take a look at it. Extend the chain, and yeah, it's short.
Some of the fans are yelling, go for it. I don't think they're going to go for it with this field position. This would be a real gamble, especially when you consider the options you have at tailback. Well, they're going to go for it.
And he stays on the field. Tony Sperano sends out some new players, including Lex Hilliard and Reggie Bush. 4th and a yard with 8:36 to play.
One thing you got to consider if you're the Texans is the quarterback sneak. Henne, a big guy at 6'3", 230. Wouldn't be surprised if the Texans don't really clog the middle with Sean Cody.
Huge play here. 4th and a yard. A shift. Empty backfield.
And they draw him off sides.
Not going to happen.
Nope.
And a timeout.
That's the killer. You got to use a timeout now. You're down by 10 and you're using a timeout.
Well, you played some games out there and then it cost you. 23-13, Houston in front. NFL Today update. JB.
Tom Brady finding success with his tight ends, Dan.
And look, he's on fire today. Tom Brady finding Rob Gronkowski, 17-yard touchdown. New England going up after a 2-point conversion, 28-14.
Brady nearly 900 passing yards in 2 weeks. Back to Ian and Dan.
And the performance last week, Gronkowski and Hernandez, the amount of weapons New England has and the way they use them.
Yeah, and you got Welker going for 99.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about Deion Branch. Let's not forget about Chad Ochocinco. I mean, Brady, with that protection, he may throw for 6,000 yards this season.
Man.
Look out, Dan Marino. He's coming after all your records.
He's going after all the Dans at this point. So they'll punt it after the timeout. They could have taken the delay and held on to the timeout for later. Either way, they need Brandon Fields to get a good one, and he does. Jones retreats, and it cost him. How about that swing and field position? Marlon Moore, excellent play on special teams. Another update back to JB and Dan.
Cincy quarterback Andy Dalton had a wrist injury coming in, not bothering him too much.
And after an 84-yard completion to Jerome Simpson, Andy Dalton finds A.J. Green 5-yard touchdown. Cincinnati comes to within 2 of Denver, 24-22.
Dalton, 22 of 29, 285 yards and 2 touches. Ian and Dan.
And guys, some of the numbers today. Matthew Stafford, 294 yards, 4 touchdowns. Hasselbeck over 350 yards passing. Fred Jackson putting up big numbers along with Rex Grossman. Handoff. It's Ben Tate. Physical running style, and he keeps churning out yardage right up the gut. That's good for 7 yards.
Huge play on first down. The clock now becomes the big enemy for the Houston Texans. They want to work that clock down to nothing. 7:40 to go. But that first down play of 7 yards, that's huge.
Both teams dealing with injuries. Dansby with a hamstring injury for Miami. Handoff for Tate. And Tate's got a first down across the 30. Just like that. 2 plays, move the chains, use more clock. That's a 7-yard pickup. And coming up Wednesday on Showtime, JB, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms, and Warren Sapp return to cable's longest running show. It's Inside the NFL, and it's every Wednesday on Showtime.
Now, we started the day talking about this offensive line of the Houston Texans, and now we're going to see them in their finest hour as they try to just wear down the Dolphin defense. Steady dose of Ben Tate.
And Tate could crack 100 again the way we're headed. Maybe on this play. Tate now goes over 80 yards rushing, working that left side of the Houston offensive line. It's another 7-yard carry for Tate.
And Rashad Jones made another tackle. He was a leading tackler last week against the Patriots. And when your safeties are your leading tacklers, you got problems.
Line of scrimmage is being controlled by the Houston Texans. 85 yards on the ground for Ben Tate. That's an average of 6 yards per pop on 14 carries. 2nd and 3. We go under 6 minutes to play. Houston up 10 with the football. Tate driving forward for a pickup of 2. Marvin Mitchell there defensively. It will be a little bit short of a first down for Houston. Boy, Cam Newton, 432 yards, but he threw 3 picks. Tom Brady is not finished. 381.
Maybe Cam Newton's going to go after Marino's records too.
Certainly the rookie record.
Man.
So Tate to the sideline for Houston. This is a 3rd and 1 with 5:20 remaining. Steve Slayton is in there. Casey in front of him. And a timeout called by Houston. So the clock stops with 5:17 remaining. Texans have 2 timeouts left. Miami with 2 timeouts remaining as well. Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS. Bobby Petrino, the Arkansas Razorbacks, tangle with Trent Richardson and the Alabama Crimson Tide. It all starts with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman. Autotrader.com. College football today right here on CBS.
That was a smart timeout by the Texans because you give your offensive linemen a chance to get a little water out in the huddle there, get a breather, get to talk about their play selection they're going to run, and really communicate in the huddle and then at the line of scrimmage. 3 minutes off the clock so far for this Houston offense.
Ben Tate is back in there. He gets the breather and checks in on a 3rd and 1. Tate. And falling forward for the first down. Paul Soliai over there defensively. He needed a yard. He picked up 3. And this drive continues for the Houston Texans. Tate now with 90 yards on the ground.
He was a second-round pick last year. Did not play because of that bad ankle, but he's having a heck of a start to his second year in the NFL. Over 100 yards rushing last week, and he's doing all the heavy lifting right now. 90 yards on the ground, and he's been a very effective pass receiver as well. 4 catches for 32 yards.
Arian Foster today, 10 carries for 33 yards. Re-aggravating that hamstring problem. Have not seen him in the second half. Tate. And not a lot of room to work with as Cameron Wake was over there defensively. It's a loss of 2.
That's what you got to like about Tate. Although he's just in his second year, he has a real good understanding of ball security. Realize that yardage in that instance and that type of play, not all that important. What's important is securing the ball, especially when Cameron Wake is after you.
6 plays on this drive. They have all been to Tate. And look at that clock. Rolling down, under 4 minutes to play. Houston leading 23-13. Tate to the outside, and he gets extra yardage after contact. And stays in bounds. Let's head to New York. NFL Today update.
Ian and Dan, this is not a repeat, but of the names. Rivers to Jackson.
And Dan Fouts would love this catch. Phillip Rivers, 26 yards to Vincent Jackson. Look at that one-hander. Second touchdown today. New England's up 28-21.
10 catches for 172 yards and 2 touches for Jackson. Back to Ian and Dan.
You know, he wears number 83, and I used to throw to a guy who wore number 83 to catch the ball with one hand, too. John Jefferson, JJ.
You having some flashbacks?
That was a good one. Felt good.
3rd and 8 here for Houston. Shotgun formation. It's Tate. And Tate will only pick up a yard on the play. But Houston takes care of business using the clock.
Absolutely. And remember, the Dolphins had to use a timeout trying to pull the Texans off sides. Now they'll use another one. But I like that call because you got great field position. Give the ball to your punter and let Brett Hartman pin the Dolphins deep in their own end, trailing by 10. That's a tall order.
And then when it's all said and done, after this punt, it's going to be over 5 minutes of game action that Houston was able to use up and put the pressure on Miami. They'll have under 3 minutes to work with, only 1 timeout and the 2-minute warning, down by 2 scores.
Yeah, that offensive line deserves a lot of credit. Opening up the little cracks in the defense, letting Ben Tate do his thing.
This is a Houston Texan team that's trying to go to the playoffs this year for the first time in franchise history. Meanwhile, the Miami Dolphins, their last playoff win came 10 years ago. Just 1 playoff berth since realignment in 2002. Devon Bess. And Bess ducks out of bounds with 2:51 remaining. A 9-yard return after the 41-yard punt. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS. The game between the Dolphins and the Texans. Ian Eagle along with Dan Fouts. 23-13. Houston leading Miami. 60 minutes will be seen immediately after the game, except on the West Coast, where it will be seen at its regularly scheduled time. So Dolphins have it at the 20-yard line. Tate has stepped in again for Arian Foster. Foster missed the game last week with a hamstring injury. Limited action for Foster this week. Only 10 carries, and Tate has answered the bell. 93 yards on the ground. Shotgun for Henne, and Henne is sacked. Big loss on the play. Antonio Smith.
That was it. Gigi Rodriguez sinking a 20-foot putt. That was a 9-yard sack.
That might be tougher than a 20-yard putt, a 20-foot putt.
Or a 20-yard putt.
Either way.
Yeah, that's a long one.
2nd and 19 for Miami. 2.5 to go. The Dolphins 1-10 in their last 11 home games. Henne sideline, and Hartline had his feet taken out from under him. Incomplete. He was out of bounds.
Pretty good play by Bryce McCain, taking the legs out from underneath the Hartline and pushing him out of bounds so he couldn't come down in bounds.
So now 3rd and 19 for Miami. Just 2:16 left on the clock. Dolphins have started 0-2 4 of the last 5 years. Texans started 2-0 last season, but they finished 6-10. Henning's pass knocked down. J.J. Watt, he's got a knack.
J.J. Watt, who blocked the field goal earlier in the ball game, keeping his eyes on the quarterback there. That's the 4th time that the defensive line has knocked down a Chad Henne pass, and Henne's not a short guy. He's 6'3", but they have shown athletic ability to get their hands up in the air and frustrate the quarterback.
So now it's 4th down for Miami. Here's Henne. Flag down. Henne throws. And it's incomplete. Devon Best could not secure it.
Holding, number 71. Offense. Penalties decline. Result of the play.
Mark Colombo called on the hold.
Well, he was holding Mario Williams. And I'm sure Chad Henne won't have cross words for Colombo, keeping Williams away from him.
And the Texans take over on downs with 2:04 left. 2-minute warning coming up. Miami does have a timeout. How about the Houston Texans? They lost 6 straight road games to end last season. Remember, that division was still up for grabs late in the year. Jacksonville thought they had a shot, and then Houston went on the losing streak. They were taken out of the mix, eventually won by Indianapolis.
And speaking of Indianapolis and Peyton Manning,
trouble.
How that division has changed.
On 1st down, give is to Tate. And Tate hit hard as he picks up a yard. He's got 94 yards on the ground, and we've hit the 2-minute warning. The Houston Texans inching closer to a 2-0 start. Handoff to Ben Tate as he takes it inside the 5-yard line. That's an 8-yard gain for Tate, and the clock rolling with 1:44 and counting remaining in this 4th quarter.
And that'll push Tate over the century mark.
He's at 102 on 21 carries, so back-to-back 100-yard rushing performances for Ben Tate.
That's a pretty good insurance policy right there for the Texans.
Remember, Derek Ward also part of the backfield. He's out with an ankle problem, also a shoulder injury. And Steve Slayton, a former 1,000-yard rusher, 1,282 yards in 2008. 3rd and 2. And Tate fighting on the inside. So the Houston Texans will improve to 2-0. Next up, at New Orleans. Then home for Pittsburgh. And home again for the Oakland Raiders.
There are no breathers, are there?
No.
No. And, you look down the way there at Tennessee. They were winners today, so anything can happen.
Meanwhile, for the Miami Dolphins, 0-2 start for the 5th time in the last 6 years. Next week at Cleveland, then at San Diego. The bye week comes in early October. Divisional rival against the Jets. Home for Denver, and then at the Giants. So they're not home again, which might be a good thing for this Miami team.
I think it would be a very good thing. They can't win here
until late October.
Yeah. Well, that's so puzzling to not be able to win when you've got such a great home field advantage with the weather. Although it doesn't affect the Texans, it's just as hot and humid in Houston, but it certainly didn't help last week against the Patriots.
Well, big question coming into the season for the Houston Texans. Would this defense be markedly improved with Wade Phillips? And so far the answer is a clear, definitive yes. Last week against Indy and this week against Miami. Handoff, it's Tate. And Tate is held up right at the goal line, but he did get enough for the 1st down.
And the improvement obviously is in the back end. The pass defense so much better with the addition of Joseph and Manning, and moving Mario Williams To a linebacker spot, I think that's a pretty good experiment that's working.
And that's it. Houston does not have to rub it in here. Gary Kubiak can put Matt Schaub in the kneel down.
The victory formation.
The Houston Texans. Strong start to the 2011 season. The Texans 23-13 over the Miami Dolphins. Now 6-0 all time against the Dolphins. Dolphins fall to 0-2. And that's been a familiar spot for this Miami franchise in recent years. Final score, Houston 23, Miami 13. For Dan Fouts and the rest of our CBS Sports crew, this is Ian Eagle. So long from South Florida. Right now, let's go to James Brown standing by in New York. JB.
All right, partner, thank you so very much. So the Dolphins dropped to 0-2. Texans improve to 2-0, 23-13. All right, folks.